What if artificial intelligence just changed everything we thought we knew about ancient history? After 7 decades of speculation and mystery, AI has finally cracked the code of the Dead Sea Scrolls. The results are nothing short of astonishing, uncovering 80 previously unknown fragments and revealing hidden secrets that were buried for centuries. This isn't just another archaeological discovery, it's a complete shift in our understanding of the ancient world. The information uncovered paints an entirely new picture, challenging long-held beliefs. Thanks to AI, we're now seeing history through a completely different lens, one filled with surprises and revelations. A grim discovery site. The Cave of Horror sits deep in the Judean desert, hidden in the Nahal Hever Gorge. It is not easy to reach. The cave is halfway down a steep cliff, and people can only get to it using ropes and climbing gear. The path is dangerous. That is part of why the cave stayed untouched for so long. The name Cave of Horror came from the dark and sad things found inside. In the 1960s, a group of archaeologists explored the cave and made a shocking discovery. Inside were the bones of nearly 40 people. They were men, women, and children. These people had escaped into the cave during the Bar Kokhba revolt, which took place between 132 and 136 AD. It was a time when Jewish rebels were fighting the Roman Empire. The people in the cave were not fighters. They were families trying to stay safe. They had brought food and supplies, hoping they could wait until the danger passed. But things went wrong. The Roman soldiers found them. The families had no way to leave. Many of them died from hunger and thirst. The cave became their final hiding place. For nearly 2,000 years, they remained there, their bones telling a quiet and painful story. While going through the cave, archaeologists also found small bits of old scrolls. These were tiny pieces of parchment. At first, nobody paid much attention. The pieces looked too damaged to study. Many believed they were just random scraps with no meaning. The writing was hard to read, and the fragments were all mixed up. For many years, these pieces sat in storage. They were saved but mostly forgotten. Now, with help from artificial intelligence, researchers have taken another look. The AI helped sort the pieces and made it easier to read the writing. Suddenly, something that seemed useless became important. The scrolls had words that changed how we see that time in history. The Cave of Horror is no longer just a sad place filled with bones. It holds secrets that waited for years to come out. Thanks to new tools and smart thinking, the cave now tells a bigger story. From deep in the desert came one of the most powerful discoveries of the last century. The 2021 breakthrough excavation. In the year 2021, something important happened in the Judean desert. People had been sneaking into old caves to steal ancient items and sell them for money. These people were damaging history. They were breaking into places that still held stories from thousands of years ago. To stop this, the Israel Antiquities Authority decided to step in. They started a big project to search the caves before anything else could be stolen. This was not easy work. Many of these caves were high up or deep down in cliffs. Reaching them took ropes, special gear, and trained climbers. The teams had to climb down dangerous cliffs to get inside. Some of these places had not been touched in over 50 years. One of the caves they explored again was the Cave of Horror. Years ago, people found skeletons and tiny pieces of scrolls there. This time, something even more exciting came to light. Inside the cave, the team found more pieces of the Dead Sea Scrolls. These scrolls were very old, more than 1,800 years old. They had survived through time, dust, and darkness. The new scroll fragments were special. Most of the Dead Sea Scrolls found in the past were written in Hebrew or Aramaic. But these were written in Greek, which made them rare. Even though the rest of the words were in Greek, the name of God was still written in the old Hebrew letters. That part stood out. It showed that the writers still held deep respect for the name, even while using another language. The scrolls had verses from 2 books of the Bible. One was the Book of Nahum. The other was from the Book of Zechariah, chapter 8. These verses speak about peace, truth, and the power of faith. The words gave a glimpse into what people cared about during hard times. Experts also looked closely at the handwriting. The letters were shaky. Some were uneven. It looked like the writer had been afraid or rushing. Maybe the scroll was written while hiding from danger. That feeling came through the writing. It made the discovery feel more real, like the writer's fear could still be felt after all these years. This discovery helped shine a new light on history. It reminded people how much is still hidden in the earth, waiting to be found. Thanks to the brave work of the team, the scrolls are safe, and their story continues. But here's what made archaeologists' hearts race: these weren't ordinary scrolls at all. What made these scrolls different? The scrolls found in the Cave of Horror in the year 2021 were very special. They were not like the other scrolls found before. One big reason was the language. Most of the Dead Sea Scrolls are written in Hebrew or Aramaic. But these new ones were written in Greek. That was a big surprise because they came from the time of the Bar Kokhba revolt, almost 2,000 years ago. At that time, the Roman Empire ruled the area, and many people spoke Greek every day. Even so, the writers of these scrolls still used the Hebrew name for God. They wrote the rest of the scroll in Greek, but when it came to God's name, they switched to the old Hebrew script. That showed strong faith. Even while living in a world ruled by another language and culture, they held on to what mattered most. There was something else different about the Greek words. When experts compared the scrolls to the normal Greek Bible, called the Septuagint, they saw changes. The words did not match exactly. Some parts were written in a different way. The scroll might have been copied from another version, or maybe the writer made small changes. Either way, it gave people new things to think about. It showed that people were using different kinds of texts at that time. The meaning of the words also made these scrolls stand out. One scroll had parts from the book of Zechariah, chapter 8. These verses talk about people returning home after a hard time. They speak about peace, safety, and hope. The other scroll had parts from the book of Nahum. That book warns about the fall of great powers. It says that those who hurt others will not win forever. These scrolls felt very human. They were not long lists of rules or big religious lessons. They sounded more like prayers or personal messages. The people hiding in the cave were scared. They were trying to stay alive. These scrolls were a way to hold on to faith and hope. They help us understand what people were feeling in that dark time. That is what makes them different. They carry voices from the past that still feel real today. AI technology enters the scene. For a long time, experts tried to study the Dead Sea Scrolls using their eyes and hands. But this work was very slow. The scrolls were old and weak. Many had broken into small pieces. Some pieces were so faded that the writing could barely be seen. Others had letters missing or were torn in strange shapes. For many years, people tried to match these pieces like a puzzle. It took a lot of time and patience. Even after many decades, some parts stayed unread or lost. Some scroll pieces were too damaged for the human eye to read. The ink had faded so much that the letters seemed to disappear. Scholars tried their best, but they could only see so much with the tools they had. Many fragments sat in boxes for years because no one could figure out what they said or where they fit. Everything started to change when artificial intelligence, or AI, came into the picture. With new tools, researchers could now see what the human eye could not. One of these tools is called hyperspectral imaging. It uses a special camera that looks at different kinds of light. It can see old ink marks that are hidden to us. With this, even faded letters started to appear again. The next big step came from machine learning. This means the computer learns how to do tasks by looking at patterns. Scientists trained the computer to study the scrolls. The AI began to notice small things in the letters that people missed. It could tell how a letter was shaped or how the ink spread on the paper. These little details helped the computer group pieces that might have come from the same scroll. Some ink marks were so tiny that people never noticed them before. But the AI could see them clearly. It used these small signs to guess missing letters and to match pieces together. Slowly, new words and sentences began to form. With the help of AI, researchers made faster progress than ever before. Things that took people many years were now done in a short time. Thanks to this smart technology, the scrolls are finally sharing their stories. After nearly 2,000 years, Their voice